Within 10 minutes, I'm driving out of Luxburn and heading straight for Anselm Village.
Dun, dun, dun.
In the distance, flashes of lightning light up the horizon, white and sharp against the black curtain of the night. Thunder threatens with a rumble seconds later, echoing long across the sky. With one last roar, the skies open in earnest. The rain, falling fast, steady sheets creating shallow puddles on the dirt path, drenching everything the eyes can reach. Despite having grown up in this city, I still despised the rain. Living here doesn't mean I have to like it. Lucky me, I reached the mansion before the downpour is torrential. Torrential. The long slog from Anselm Village by foot has already been made difficult by the light drizzle and biting winds buffeting against my body every few seconds. By the time I've found cover under the trees lining the vicinity of the mansion, my shoulders are already drenched. My hair is also sticking against my skin and out in every possible direction. Thankfully, the letter, taser, and gun I've brought with me has remained relatively dry. That's the most important thing. However, those are the least of my problems at the moment. Sometime after the housewarding party, scumbag Wright has suddenly grown a brain and tightened security around the mansion. Likely because of what Zach did. A guard is now stationed at every possible point of entry. The main entryway, the back door leading to the kitchens. Hell, it's almost a miracle no one has spotted me once I entered the property. Although that's probably because I've kept close to the forest.
I feel like they would have cleaned up the vines and stuff off of the house, unless they liked that look.
Off the walls?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, some buildings, like, that's a thing. It's like, here's a courtyard, and it's got all of the walls are covered in vines.
Yeah, but just their placement, I feel like, is intentionally creepy, just for the image, you know? Like, why are there vines?
It's almost like it was drawn to be foreboding.
No, but look at, like, the chimneys or whatever. Like, you don't need vines on the chimney.
I noticed that as well, yes. While I can always create a clever way in for myself under this deluge, it'll be difficult to do so without making much noise or leaving tracks.
I don't really have the luxury either, do I?
Considering how off this place feels since I've stepped in the property and the mansion came into view. Every light is off, even with the security personnel on the outside patrolling the whole house itself. It feels empty, eerie, too quiet. Well, Hannah's not here anymore, I'm pretty sure.
Well, we don't know if that actually happened, though.
Well, she said she was leaving, so I'm just assuming she's not there. Normally, I'll pass it off as some kind of power outage because of the storm. It's not a far-off conclusion when this place is almost in the middle of nowhere. However, something just feels wrong.
Something happened here.
Or about to. It's the sole reason why I haven't done anything yet. Simply observing, watching, listening for anything. I might be pressured for time, but I'm not a careless idiot. Although I need a way in, desperately, so moving without thinking will not only endanger me. With so many unknown variables and what we're dealing with, I also have to act on the assumption that something is always in danger, especially in this place. I can't act impetuously. As much as I hate Wright, I'm not about to cause his death because of one thoughtless action. If there's a place he deserves to be at, it's in prison, not a morgue. So when a hoarse, painful sob suddenly rings out above the loud pitter-patter of rain, only then do I stir. A woman. Perhaps a servant? It's coming from the forest? Just right up ahead, in fact, not too far from the house. Regardless, I give the place a quick, wary glance before following the noise. Carefully keeping to the shadows, one cautious step after another. Louder and louder it goes as I near, until it abruptly turns into a loud, desperate, anguished cry. I break into a run. One nervous hand ready on the gun holstered at my hip, the other raised for balance as I scurry across the dense understory. Dead leaves crunch under my shoes, but I pay it no mind. There's only the voice, the woman, and nothing. Abruptly it all stops and I'm wet with a sudden hush. Blank. Empty. Almost deafening in its stillness, even with my labored breathing and pounding heartbeats against my ears. Behind me, another branch breaks, and...
Help me.
Dread surges within me while I spin around and take a hard step back, ignoring the chilly pinpricks crawling up back of my neck. Okay. But before I can even meet her eyes, the world unexpectedly pitches sideways, tilting. And tilting the ground beneath me finally crumbles.
I wish they would have put up an image of the forest, since he's not, like, really at the house.
He's in the weird gray blackness you can see off to the left and right of it in the distance. My hands fight for purchase, only to meet air. And then it's too late. My foot slips further, and the rest of my body follows. Was there just a random trapdoor in the woods? Was there just a random trapdoor in the woods? Or is this like what happened to Rebecca in the bathroom?
What are you talking about?
I want to know what that just happened.
He fell.
Yeah, why and how? That's what I'm saying. Like, is there a trapdoor in the woods, or is this kind of what happened to Rebecca in the bathroom at the school? That's what I'm wondering.
Oh, it's just like black magic. Voodoo. I don't know.
All right, fine. Let's find out then. Dark spots blur the edges of my vision. Black tendrils twist and coil around my limbs. Soft footfalls echo from the far distance, scurrying, scampering, moving in an odd rhythm with the sharp, piercing notes of her laughter. More than that are the voices, lacing venom inside every crevice in my head. Murmurs that jeer, scoff, and deride. Over. It's because you didn't listen. And over. It's all your fault. And over again. Why won't you believe me? A reminder what I've failed to do, and of who I've failed. What I'm trying to desperately fix. The scream threatens to burst, but my throat closes off ever so slowly. A chill seeps into every nerve in my body, washing away every sensation in me, apart from one. There is only fear. Once again, her laughter echoes, a sound both bitter and unforgiving. It is the last thing I hear before she reaches for me. The ground trembles. The world slows to a stop. Okay, we're in a dungeon apparently. Half darkness greets me when my eyes finally snap open. The soft patter of dripping water, somewhere spurring my consciousness further. For a few short moments, I remain still, blinking away the dizziness. Allowing my vision to adjust to the lack of light and my breathing to even out first, before pushing myself up on one arm and attempting to stand. Turning alone is a struggle on its own. An inch of movement sends a stab of sharp pain right up my arms and my back, giving me another pause.
Shit. I hope I didn't break anything. Fuck.
There doesn't seem to be any injury or major fracture, although the whole of my back does feel sore and raw. Probably from when I've skidded down prior to landing myself here. Comforting thought. The second attempt comes easier later, though no less painful. And by the time I'm back on my feet, the exertion has left me gasping in short, shallow breaths and leaning heavily on the wall nearest to me. Behind me, a light draft blows in from where I've fallen in, coming in short, sharp bursts into what's apparently an underground tunnel, and brings in the fresh, earthly smell of rain from the topside. Regardless, it fails to mask the old musky scent of the place, a mixture of mold, mildew, dust, grease, and something distinctly foul. Like death. More worrisome than putrid, festering smell. However, the cells that line both sides of the tunnel.
Did you skip one? Or?
That's what I'm wondering. Did I skip one? Because that was...
Nope.
Yeah, that seems a very weird sentence. I'm like waiting for it to lead into something and it didn't.
You just missed a word. You didn't say are.
Oh, are the cells.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough, fair enough.
Do you want me to read?
I got it. Under the dim light, I can barely make out what's inside on some of them. But I already have a few ideas, all of which I refuse to delve into at the moment. Knowing how long this mansion has stood, somehow, no matter how unexpected finding the existence of this place is, it isn't too surprising.
I wonder if Scumbag knows about this.
Probably not. Unless he's also the kind of person who takes joy in inflicting this kind of suffering on others. I don't really think so. He's rotten to the core, but not that rotten. He'll probably balk at this, move out at the first opportunity, and have it demolished. The very idea of what has occurred in this place years ago makes me reel as well. I've known long ago, places like this tend to hold secrets. This, though? If this is just the tip of the iceberg, I fear what I may discover in the mansion itself and the tale behind that fucking letter. But fear's inconsequential. As unpleasant as the sight of this is, this place might also be the only way for me to get inside unnoticed. Sighing and taking one last gulp of clean air, I push away from the wall and delve deeper into the passage.
Let's just hope it'll be smooth sailing from here on.
Turns out, it is, for the most part. The path rarely deviates, no sharp turns or branching routes. Just a long, empty hallway stretching out before me, filled with nothing but dust, dirt, and a few rusted curtains scattered about.
Rusted
Chains.
what?
Chains. I don't know why I read that as curtains. A few rusted chains scattered about. Whew. The only problem is having an overactive imagination and seeing curtains everywhere. One walking amidst a place shadowed by death. Every sound, every sudden movement, even the faintest of it spurs it. At times there are scampering, small noises that abruptly rise from my footfalls, rebounding off the hollow walls and echoing inaudibly across the whole span of the tunnel before fading away just as swiftly as it rang.
It's probably just some animal.
Like a rat. A rat, maybe? I hope. I pause nevertheless, straining my ears for more of it, while I gradually move my hand to my side, slow and steady until the tips of my fingers brush off the gun's handle. Although cold against my skin, it's the closest thing I have to comfort at the moment. For a long minute I wait, holding my breath, watching every form, edge, and shadow at the corner of my vision for any movement. After heartbeat and nothing, I allow the tension to ease out of me in the form of a long, slow exhale that reverberates around the whole place. Things continue like this as I traverse the whole passage, pausing, listening, moving on, repeat. Eventually losing track of time while I go deeper into the tunnel. Until finally the corridor ends with the sight of light slanting from a door left ajar. On the other side, from whatever little glimpse the opening offers, I spy bottles lining the walls and liquor barrels for aging. The wine cellar.
Do you think McCullough's body will still be there?
Yeah, probably.
Right into the kitchen then.
More than eager to get out of this place, I quicken my pace. but as soon as the door's within arm's reach, I push it open. A foul, putrid scent assaults my senses. A heady mixture of odors akin to a rotting fruit and decaying meat that catches me completely off guard. Surprised, I stumble back gagging, having accidentally breathed a lungful of it. Only for my foot to end up disturbing the edge of a nearby puddle I failed to notice earlier. It then splashes the liquid right across the hem of my pants, and I fight the urge to grimace as a raw metallic smell rises up in the air. A smell I'm already more than familiar with, thank you very much. That doesn't mean I have to like it. Sighing, I take a brief moment to brace myself before crossing the threshold, already expecting the worst. The trail of dark liquid leads me to it. Its form is slumped against a wine vat not too far from the door. The rank lingers heavier here, stronger. Putrefaction has just started, but in a place like this, you can't really tell the time of death from that alone. The humidity and temperature in this room has likely delayed the process. An estimate? This person has died sometime around 3 to 5 days ago, which places the timeline around the time people were just moving in, and also the housewarming party.
Housewarming.
A servant, then? No. Someone with the same social status as the Wrights. Whoever it is has also read the letter based on the writings around the body. Someone who was also present during the open house and the party. So a guest. Wordlessly, I draw closer, muttering a quiet prayer under my breath for the departed. The least I can do now is figure out who it is, and trying to find his or her family once I'm done here. Let them know what has become of their kin. Even through the layers of clothes, its shoulder feels cold to the touch. Somehow, despite not being new to this, it still sends a nauseating chill to my stomach. Maybe it's because this time, I know exactly why this person died. Another person too late to save from this curse. Ignoring the dread, gently, I give the blazer a pull. Unexpectedly, her head lolls back, twisted, contorted, severed. It dangles. Fuck, it dangles from one side to the other before settling at an odd angle. The next thing I know, I'm staring at the hollow base of her neck, with only a thin layer of skin keeping her severed head to her body. But more than the gruesome sight or sickening feeling that has lurched up to my throat, it's recognition. I know this woman. And it's not just any woman I've seen randomly in the streets. She's the same one I met at G's 5 days ago, smashed drunk and babbling her frustrations about her employers. Marianne McCulloch, famous interior designer extraordinaire. Not so extraordinary now, with her throat sliced viciously in half and her whole body drenched in her own blood. Once the surprise subsides, I muster the courage to properly lie her down, closing her eyes and covering her face with my handkerchief. It's perhaps the kindest gesture I can offer her right now, pressed for time as I am. But to see another suffer this kind of death. In the end, the only thing I'm able to do is avert my gaze and continue with my plans.